Before we break this down, just a quick note. If you enjoy smart Lakers coverage that actually explains why moves happen, not just what happens, make sure you stay connected with this channel. We don't chase noise here. We chase real basketball logic. Now, let's talk about something almost nobody saw coming. The Lakers signing Kobe Bufkin to a 10-day contract. It caught fans off guard, it caught analysts off guard, and honestly, it didn't look like a move that mattered at first glance. But when you slow down and really think about it, this signing might be quietly telling us a lot more than people realize. This wasn't a two-way contract. That part matters. The Lakers didn't just stash him away or replace a temporary body. They gave him a standard 10-day deal while already sitting at 15 players on the roster. That alone suggests this wasn't done just to see. It feels deliberate, almost strategic. Think about the timing. Gabe Vincent is healthy again. Luka is healthy. Marcus Smart is available. Even depth guards like Jake LaRavia are in the mix. So why now? Why add another guard if everything is supposedly stable? The simple answer is, it's probably not. This move doesn't scream blockbuster trade. It doesn't mean something happens tomorrow. But it does strongly hint that the Lakers are planning something around the edges, especially in the backcourt, as the trade deadline approaches. Teams don't make these types of signings unless they're preparing for flexibility. Look at the contracts. Gabe Vincent is on an expiring $11.5 million deal with no options attached. That's the exact kind of contract front offices use when they want optionality. Max Christie is another expiring piece, though he plays a different role. Even Dalton Knecht, whose situation clearly hasn't worked out the way they hoped, fits into that conversation. The Lakers already explored moving him once. That matters. So when you connect the dots, Kobe Bufkin starts to look less like a temporary experiment and more like a potential placeholder. A hedge. Insurance. Someone who could step into a role if or when a move finally happens. And that's why this signing matters. It's not about what Bufkin is today. It's about what the Lakers might be preparing for tomorrow. In this video, we're going to break down what this move likely signals, what it means for the roster going forward, and why Kobe Bufkin could quietly benefit from all of it. Because no, the Lakers might not be done yet, and this could be the first real sign. Here's where things start to get interesting. If the Lakers end up opening a roster spot, whether through a trade or simply by not immediately filling one, that spot could very easily go to Kobe Bufkin. From a financial standpoint, the Lakers would still have enough breathing room under the first apron to make that move, or even explore another option off the buyout market if they choose. And if they somehow create two open roster spots, the flexibility becomes even more valuable. At that point, they wouldn't just be experimenting, they'd be reshaping the back end of the roster. But before jumping too far ahead, the bigger takeaway is simple. This move strongly suggests that someone on the current roster is likely being replaced. The real question is, who? Two names immediately stand out, Gabe Vincent and Dalton Knecht. Let's start with Gabe Vincent. Yes, he just returned from injury. And to his credit, he looked sharp in his most recent outing, knocking down 3 triples in the first quarter and finishing the night shooting efficiently from deep. In fact, he's one of the very few Lakers currently shooting above 35% from 3 this season. That matters, but context matters more. Vincent is on an expiring $11.5 million contract with no options attached. If the Lakers don't see him as part of their long-term plans, and it's hard to imagine they do at that price point, then his deal becomes far more valuable as salary filler than as an on-court piece. From a front office perspective, that's the cleanest, most logical contract to move if you're trying to make a trade work financially. And from a role standpoint, the fit makes sense. Vincent is a combo guard who takes on difficult point-of-attack defensive assignments while operating offensively as an off-ball shooter who can handle secondary playmaking duties when needed. That's not an easy role to replace, but it is a role Kobe Bufkin has shown the potential to fill. Bufkin isn't a perfect one-to-one replacement, but the framework is there. He can defend, he can guard multiple perimeter positions, and he's comfortable playing without dominating the ball. The Lakers have gone down this road before, most notably last season, when they took a chance on a defensive-minded guard from their G League affiliate rather than gambling on the unpredictability of the buyout market. That approach worked, and Bufkin's production in the G League backs up the idea. He's been impactful on both ends of the floor, averaging 1.3 steals and 1.3 blocks per game, not per 36, not inflated by projections, but in real minutes. For a 6'4" guard, that defensive activity is rare and extremely valuable. All of that makes Gabe Vincent the most logical trade candidate following this signing. But he's not the only one. Dalton Knecht also deserves mention. The skill sets aren't similar, but the context is. Knecht is a backcourt player whose playing time has steadily decreased, and his on-court impact simply hasn't matched expectations. The Lakers already explored moving him once, and unfortunately, his trade value has dropped significantly since then. Whether it's confidence, rhythm, or a combination of both, Knecht has struggled on both ends of the floor. And when that happens on a team trying to fine-tune its roster, difficult decisions follow, which brings us back to Kobe Bufkin. His signing doesn't guarantee a trade, but it clearly prepares the Lakers for one. And that preparation tells us a lot about where this roster might be heading next. And when you really look at where things stand right now, Dalton Knecht is honestly at a crossroads. His role has shrunk, his confidence looks shaky, and his trade value is probably at its lowest point since joining the Lakers. Because of that, even if the Lakers don't find a team willing to take him in a trade, there's still a very real possibility that he simply gets phased out of the rotation altogether. That's where Kobe Bufkin enters the conversation. Despite his struggles, Knecht is still getting minutes. Over the past 7 games, he's averaged close to 14 minutes per night. Even after Gabe Vincent returned, that number only dropped slightly, sitting around 13 minutes per game. Those minutes don't disappear. They go somewhere. And theoretically, that playing time could easily be redirected toward Kobe Bufkin. That's important because 10 to 15 minutes per game is more than enough opportunity for a player like Bufkin to prove something. It's enough time to impact the game defensively, knock down open shots, and show whether he belongs at this level. And so far, he hasn't looked hesitant at all. In his limited NBA action, he came in during garbage time and immediately knocked down a 3 without thinking twice. No hesitation. No nerves, just confidence. That matters. Because right now, if Knecht isn't hitting shots, he doesn't give the Lakers much else. He's not a plus defender, he's not a creator, and when the scoring disappears, so does his overall impact. Over his last few games, he's gone 1 for 7 from 3, and even that lone make came during garbage time. That's not enough to justify meaningful rotation minutes on a team trying to stabilize its roster. So, from a coaching perspective, why not experiment? Bufkin may not be a finished product, but he brings defensive activity, effort, and upside. Even at the G League level, he's shown instincts that translate. Active hands, strong help defense, and the ability to disrupt plays without fouling. And when you combine that with his willingness to shoot and play within the flow of the offense, the argument becomes pretty simple. The Lakers might actually get more from him right now than they're getting from Knecht. And if that happens, if Bufkin starts to look more reliable, more productive, more trustworthy, then the situation for Dalton Knecht becomes even more complicated. At that point, Knecht wouldn't just be struggling for minutes. He'd be losing his role to a player on a 10-day contract. That's a tough reality. Getting replaced first by a two-way option, then by a short-term signing, is usually a sign that both sides are nearing the end. Not necessarily out of spite, but because the fit just isn't working anymore. If Bufkin earns trust, earns minutes, and earns responsibility, then Knecht instantly becomes an even bigger trade priority. Not because the Lakers expect value in return, but simply to move on. For both sides, a fresh start for Knecht and a clearer direction for the roster. And to be clear, this isn't about rooting against Dalton Knecht. If anything, you hope he figures it out. You hope he regains the confidence he showed at times last season. You hope another team sees something and gives him a real opportunity. That would be the best outcome for everyone involved. But right now, if you're forced to place a bet, the upside feels higher with Kobe Bufkin. He offers more defensively. He's more active. He plays with urgency. And when you compare him not just to Knecht, but also to other end-of-bench options, the case becomes even stronger. There's arguably more upside with Bufkin than with Nick Smith, more defensive value than some of the guards currently on the roster. And even compared to players like Bronny, Bufkin feels closer to being ready to contribute in a real way. That's why this signing matters. It doesn't guarantee a trade, it doesn't guarantee a rotation change overnight, but it does make a move more likely. More likely that Gabe Vincent gets moved. More likely that Dalton Knecht becomes expendable. More likely that the Lakers are preparing for a backcourt adjustment, whether now or closer to the deadline. But those are just my thoughts. Now I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the addition of Kobe Bufkin? What do you think it means for Dalton Knecht, Gabe Vincent, and the rest of the Lakers' backcourt? Do you see this as a sign of a trade coming, or just a low-risk experiment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, show some love by liking the video, subscribe if you want more honest Lakers analysis, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. As always, thanks for watching.